Thank you. Yeah.
Hi.
Detective Marino.
Hi. I'm Rachel. I'm the victim advocate. Hi.
Sorry to the circumstances.
Yeah.
Can you just spell your first name for me?
Rachiel.
Okay. And Rachel, what's your middle name?
Nicole. Nichole.
Alright. What's your birthday?
8/22/97.
And good phone number for you?
In 2023, a quiet apartment complex in Florida became the scene of a shocking 911 call. Someone reported that a man had been shot outside his own home. When deputies arrived, they found 24-year-old Colby Vincent lying dead just outside his front door. He had been unloading groceries when he was suddenly shot. But the most disturbing part of the scene was something else. Sitting just inches from his lifeless body was his 4-year-old daughter, silent but alive.
And then, do you live with your mom and Blackjack?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit. I'm sure you've already been asked these questions last night. Sorry for if I repeat these questions.
No, it's okay. Ask away.
So, how long were you and Colby together before you separated?
Probably 4.5, 5 years maybe. But my child was about 14 months old when we separated. She's 4 now, and we haven't had much contact since then.
Did you guys live in Santa Rosa?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, why'd you guys separate?
He has a drug obsession. Like, no matter what environment I would put him in, he would bring the drugs to it. I could get him out of the environment and he would be the drug dealer. I could take him. We moved out because his family said that if you have a baby and you live with your family, it just automatically ruins your family relationship. Like, you don't get to grow as a family. And he took that personally. So we moved out, and we were 4 minutes from my mom's house, and that was okay. I was like, okay, fine. Well, once we moved out, he started selling drugs. He started growing drugs in our house, and I had my kid, and I was like, hey, you can't do this. Like, this is a dangerous situation for our daughter. Like, you gotta stop. So about 6 months later, after I realized that he wasn't going to stop putting her in these situations, that this was what he wanted to do. He was pushing his life towards this situation. He was going to open a wake and bake dispensary where he just sold his own drugs and had his own breakfast in. Like, that was what he wanted to do. And I said, that's fine. I just can't have Presley a part of that because I don't trust that system. If you sell drugs, somebody else knows that you either have the drugs or you have the money. And it's a dangerous situation for our daughter. So it got to the point where he was growing shrooms in our closet and he was having acid on our coffee tables, and it was just, I was like, no. So I gotta go home. So I went home and I said, you know what, if you can leave all of this here, you can come home with me. So he came home, and then he just did that exact same thing to my mom's house. And at that point, I grew up in an environment where you don't show any of your drama between your relationships with your family, because once you get through it, your family still knows about it. So I had hidden all of that from my family up until that point. And then my mom had seen it at our house, of course, and she had like, no, I can't come over there because I don't want to be there when the cops show up, or I don't want to be there if something goes down. I don't want that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come home. So I did that, and then he came home with us, and he did the same thing to my mom's house. So I showed her everything, and she was like, this isn't healthy, this isn't. I was like, I know, so he's got to go. So he moved out after just a whole bunch of build up. He moved out at like my kid's 14-month-oldish, that area. And then he could only afford to see her for a couple hours on a Saturday while I went to work. And then I came home, or I came to get her, and he was shaking her, and he told me shaken baby syndrome was just a myth. And I was like, it's not, there's billboards about it, I'll quit my job, I don't care, I don't need this. So then that was fine for a while, and then since I had government-assisted health insurance through the government and food assistance for her through the government, they file for child support. So they filed for child support and send it to the father. 14 days later, he turned around and sent me 50-50 papers, child custody papers. And I was like, I'm panicking because you haven't wanted anything to do with her for this long. What now? So we go to court. I get the lawyer, and I show him all of these pictures that I have of him with the bongs in her lap or in his lap, the drugs on the coffee table, and he's like, if something happens to her on his watch and it's not court ordered for her to be there, it's on you if something happens to her. So I was scared. He told me I didn't have to until it was court ordered to force her to go over there. So I didn't. I was like, look, until it's court ordered, I don't think that it is, I'm not comfortable with the lifestyle you're living. It doesn't need to be. Like, you haven't had anything to do with her for this long. I'll see you in court. So we went to court, and the judge had a death in the family, and it got moved up. And then my side of the case wasn't even allowed to be seen in the court. And then they told me 50-50 sharing, and I said, okay. And then I showed up, I dropped my kid off, and then at midnight I'm getting a call saying, hey, answer the front door. And I answer the door, and there's deputies saying, hey, where were you? What were you doing? I'm here, sleeping, up here, waiting.
How long did Kobe not see President?
About 10-ish months.
10-ish months.
Sorry, my hands are so sweaty.
It's understandable, trust me.
I didn't want her to be put in a situation because I could see that this is where his life was going. What if she saw this? Then where do you go? That's not something you can just unsee. And they said don't ask her anything, don't say anything to her. So of course, I mean, you can't say anything to her because then I'm messing with evidence or doing whatever, and I don't want to do any of that. So I'm just panicking, letting her sleep, but I can't sleep. What do I do? What do I do for her if this is something that has happened and she saw everything? This is exactly why I didn't want her to go back, y'all.
You mentioned him selling drugs and everything?
Yeah.
What specific drugs in general? I know you mentioned shrooms and I think you said acid.
Acid, marijuana, shrooms. He told me that he couldn't get her a few times because the people he was living with were doing coke and they couldn't put it up and that he didn't want her to eat it. And I was like...
Did you know these people that he was talking about?
I knew that he lived with them and that their name was... But other than that, no.
And then for that 10-month span when you didn't have contact with her, were you guys communicating at all?
Not really, no. But I have my phone. You can see what we talked. Like, this is the app that we met on.
No, that's the internet
Yeah.
through the pool.
That's the app. It says... That's literally it. And then... Where at specifically, my mom had already seen him, so she was carrying the baby to
Do you know
him.
if they had a picture of it?
Yeah, for sure. And then you can see our text messages too. Just... So I didn't have to respond to that because my mom had already seen him.
What time did you drop her off?
6:30.
6:30. And where was that at?
Publix. But I knew to be there because...
That's in the bar?
Yeah, it says it right here. I got an email from my attorney that said this. We didn't have to communicate. We knew where, when. I just had to accept it, so I did. I was not expecting deputies to show back up at my house the same night.
The investigation began immediately. Detectives first contacted the woman who was the child's mother. Her name was Rachel Moore, the victim's former girlfriend. She was asked to come to the sheriff's office to be reunited with her daughter. But very quickly, the meeting turned into something else. It became a homicide investigation.
Did you actually physically hand her off to him and
No.
the parking lot?
No, I figured it would probably be easiest and best for our child that if my mom handed her to him and said, hey, this is what's going to happen. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you later. And she said that he said, or she asked him, hey, I know you have to work this week. Do you need child care? I'm right here. I can even come do it at your house if you want. He said, no, I've got it all figured out. Tell Nunu you'll see her on Sunday. And then just turned around and walked away. So that was the end of it.
Were you in the car?
Yeah, I was in the car. It was me, my fiance, my mom, and my baby. We pulled up to Publix at 6:30.
Fiance is
Christopher Stevens. We pulled up to Publix at 6:30 to do the drop-off, and my mom got out with Presley, handed her over, and we were supposed to go home.
Was Colby with anybody when this happened?
I didn't think so. She said nobody was in the car.
Okay.
I thought I was supposed to see her again.
Did he drive himself?
Yeah.
Do you know when he drove?
She said that he drove his little red car, and that it was just him in the car. Because I asked. I was like, hey, was he by himself? Like, did you ask where they were going? But clearly I don't have a good communication skill with him, so I figured that she might do better than I will, and I don't want to stress Peanut out on the first day she's going to somewhere new. He had our child's name misspelled across his forehead. So.
When did you guys actually, is that the only communication you had was through the parent app? Once it was decided you guys were going to have 50-50 custody?
Yeah, on Monday he texted me the app itself. But I mean, you can see what we've texted and where it's been. Like, it's even dated. This is where it's been. So I downloaded the app. I said, okay, I don't have to text you back. I can do it on the app. The court can see everything. If the court can't see my case side, at least they can see what I'm saying. And that's what I was thinking about.
Other than obviously the drug history and everything, that was Colby a violent person in nature?
No, not that I had seen, other than him shaking our baby. That was the only violent thing, and it was just because she was screaming. And you know how babies can get, they scream and scream and scream, but also you get frustrated. You're supposed to put him down and walk away. But that's the only time I'd ever seen him be violent. He's always been that stoner hippie kid that's just looking for a trip. But it's always been that, let's see how high we can get next trip. And that was scary for me. That's what it boils down to, is that kind of lifestyle scary for me.
All the stuff that he was dealing, was he also using that?
Yeah, I have pictures of him dropping acid and eating shrooms and making shroom tea and bragging about how it's such a great thing, how he was trying to get big like Snoop Dogg.
Do you know anybody that would want to hurt Colby in a manner like this?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't spoke to him in almost 10 months. I had gotten to where it was sickening for a man that was willing to hurt our child to get out of having to change diapers, a man that was willing to send her back with water blisters all over her body because he doesn't like the way sunscreen feels on his hands when it was spray-on sunscreen I sent him with. It was sickening to think about it. So I just, okay, bro, I'll deal with you if I have to. It literally made me sick to think about, this is what I forced my kid to have. This is not the man that I procreated with. This is what he turned into, and I don't know how to fix it for her. So that's where I was at, and I don't know how it got here.
How did your mom find out what happened?
She is nosy. You know, in that apartment complex, my mom's got a best friend that has kids that are 30, 40 years old. I don't know how old they are, but they live there too with their kids up in the same complex on the floor above them. So as soon as she found out that we actually had to do drop off and actually were being forced to let her go for the week, she said, hey, this is where our baby's going to be at. Can you please keep an eye out for her? She might be on the swings. This is what he looks like. This is what she looks like. Can you please just look? And this is what's going on. She said, yeah, that's perfect. And then that night, Dustin and Sam, which are the kids of my mom's best friend, called Kim and said, hey, there's cops all downstairs. Maybe you guys should come see what's going on. So Kim calls my mom, just being nosy, saying, hey, there's cops down at the, whatever the place is called, and we should probably go check it out. She said, hey, I'm going to ride with Kim somewhere. So, oh, okay, it's late, but okay, I didn't think anything of it. It's like, okay.
She normally just up and leave like that?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we have a roommate living situation. It's not like I live with my mom, if that makes sense. Like, we just bought a house together. This is my best friend, if that makes sense. Like, I see her in passing, she sees me in passing, we do our own laundry, we cook our own food, like, she's there if I need her, and I'm here if she needs me. So it's not like, yes, I live with my mom, but I don't live with my mom. She doesn't cook for me, she doesn't do my laundry, she doesn't clean for me, it's not like that. So when she says, hey, I'm going somewhere, it's like, okay, have fun, text me if you need me. That's the relationship we have. So I didn't think anything of it. When she texts me at almost midnight saying, hey, answer the door. What do you mean answer the door? Nobody knocks on our door. Like, people just nobody comes to our house except our family. And they come in. Why would they knock? Especially late at night. Like, nobody comes over. They know I have kids. And I always have kids. Why would they come over this late? So when I answered the door and it was detectives and they had all of that to say, I panicked. I said, where's my kid? What do I do now? And I'm still in that situation. What do I do now? That's where I'm at. It's because, what do you do now? It's because you flat out said this isn't what you want to happen because this might happen and then it happens. Yeah.
And Christopher was with you
Yes.
last night when the detectives were there?
Yes.
How long have you all been together?
2020.
Okay.
October, November of 2020.
Did Colby know him at all? Like, did they
No,
interact?
they didn't communicate. It wasn't their place.
They never saw each other?
No. And if they did, it was just, like, from the windows, from the house to the car, or... We don't... Like I said, we're not drama people. Like, I want that as far away from my kid as possible. I don't want a toxic environment for her.
So I'm gonna let Ms. Latrell ask you some questions about your daughter, because she's gonna be the one conducting the interview, and I'll be in a separate room, so I won't even be in the same room.
Okay.
Rachel Moore presented herself as a frightened mother. She repeatedly talked about protecting her daughter. She claimed that Colby had been living a dangerous lifestyle, a life involving drugs and dangerous people. But investigators were focused on something different. They were not listening only to her words. They were studying her motives.
Once the interview's over with your daughter, I might just talk to your mom real quick back here. I don't want to keep you guys here for forever, so I'll make it really quick once that's done. So if you just let
We're
her
not
know.
in any kind of rush to keep us here until you get what you need. I can send her back if you need me to. I need to know what to do, y'all. Who expects to be in this situation? I need to know what to do next. I'm not prepared for this. I'm so scared.
We'll do the interview and we'll just hope for the best that she didn't see anything. And if she unfortunately did, we'll kind of tackle that as it comes on.
Okay.
Alright?
I'm not allowed to let her see me upset.
Yeah, just take a minute. I'm gonna turn this recording off real quick and you can get your tissue, gather your thoughts for a minute. I understand.
I'm Detective Kelly, I'm his partner. So just, like I said, I'm also kind of play catch up. I talked to your mom last night for just a few minutes, so I kind of got previewed into everything. I want to kind of start with
Same.
kind of this, what's been going on in this last year with like custody, because
Honestly, this last year hasn't been bad. This last year, 10 months ago, he said, okay, so in order to understand, you have to go back. We had our kid and he decided that the drug life was for him. And I decided it's dangerous for our daughter. So I moved back home. And then at 14 months old, when Presley was 14 months old, he moved out. And then for a while, he was getting her every Saturday for a couple hours, and that was fine. And then it was to where, I can't get her because my roommates are doing coke, or I can't get her because I got this going on. I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna be around that and on that, I don't feel comfortable letting her go with that. And you're posting pictures of dropping acid and driving around smoking, like you're not making responsible decisions. You're making me nervous. And the fact that you posting all of this with her included, it's making me nervous. So I had her under government-assisted food and government-assisted health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you do that, they go after the other parent for child support. Well, whenever that went through, 14 days later, he turned around and said, oh, well, all of a sudden, I can get her 50-50. I'm definitely not comfortable with that. No. What are you gonna do during the week when you have to work? I'm gonna leave her with my girlfriend? No. She does the same things? No. So at that point, I've got a lawyer, and he said that if she gets hurt on his watch, it's just as much my fault as it would be his fault, because there is nothing in writing or anything that says that she was supposed to be there or he was the one with her. So if she accidentally grabs his coke or acid or whatever he leaves laying around and eats it and overdoses and dies, I go to jail because of child neglect and abuse and death. And so I said, no, I'm not forced to give you custody of our kid yet. I'll see you in court. When they force me to allow you to have custody of her, I will. Okay. Perfectly fine with that. So Monday came up. They said, we're gonna do week to week. I said, okay. And I dropped her off Sunday at 6:30 at Publix. And then I went to the Tom Thumb. I say I. It was me, Christopher, my mom, and the baby. And my mom did the exchange for the baby because I figured that would be the easiest, smooth, because I figured after 10 months he was probably going to be rude to me. And I didn't want that for her.
How are y'all communicating?
I got sent this email through my attorney on Monday saying that this is what was issued. So this is where I had to be. So I knew where to be, what time to drop off.
Okay, so this is your subpoena, your court subpoena?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they send that to you every week from here on out that you're supposed to do?
I have no idea how any of this works. This was the first exchange.
What day did you have court?
Monday.
It was on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be until the 15th. And then out of the blue, I get a call saying, hey, you need to be out of work on Friday and Monday. We have court on Monday. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. So that got sent to me and I was like, oh.
So tell me,
Yeah.
so tell me about Monday. Tell me about court. What happened at court?
It absolutely sucked. I went in and since it got moved up a couple days, my side of the case and everything didn't get turned in time. So it really looked like I just said, no, I don't want you to see our kid anymore. Bye. And then turned around 10 months later and said no again. She didn't turn in, she didn't get to see any of my parenting classes, anything that I did. And it was any of the pictures, any of the evidence, anything. So she really looked at me and told me that I was a spiteful mother that just didn't want her child around this. And I was crying. I was like, ma'am, that's not the case. It's just the fact that his drug lifestyle is dangerous. And this is why. I don't do that kind of stuff. We don't go in big crowds. Those kind of things make me nervous. Small children, people take them. Big people take them. So Monday was over. I got that email. I said, okay. And then he texted, she got both of our numbers, sent them, or he got my number from her. And then he texted me on Monday and Wednesday because I didn't respond on Monday. I was hoping that yeah, you can see everything that we've been saying. And it's dated and everything. We have no communication.
Was the court hearing, was that in person?
It was over a screen.
Like through Zoom or something?
Yeah. Him and his lawyer on a screen, me and my lawyer on a screen, and then the judge on a screen.
How long was the whole proceeding?
An hour. It was one of the worst hours of my life. I was humiliated and talked to like the worst person on the planet. And from her perspective, I can completely understand that.
Talk about the judge's perspective?
Yes, from her perspective, I completely understand that because she didn't get any of my side at all. None of the pictures, none of the evidence, nothing.
Well, tell me about, let me back off that for just a second. Tell me about the home life. What goes on? I know that where y'all live, it's kind of it's a real close-knit little community you're in.
Yeah.
Tell me about where
family
how she lives.
Oriented. We're very family oriented. We get up, I go to work, she hangs out with my mom, and she does whatever they do. Like, she'll go to the nursing home with her. My mom is the home health care nurse. So she goes to do those things where they have a playground and stuff at their yard and stuff, so they play there. And as soon as we get off work, we get our kids, and sometimes we'll go kayaking, sometimes we'll go hiking, sometimes we go to the parks, we go trail hiking. Like, we do pretty much anything that we can take our dogs and our family with. So that's.
So where you're living, where you're living is, so it's not just the three of you then, right? There's more people around that are like family to y'all?
Yeah. Where I live, here's me. My uncle lives here. My grandmother lives here.
Who's your uncle? Last name?
No.
First
Steve.
name? Okay, Steve. Okay.
Yeah. And then my grandma lives on the other side of him. And then Danny lives across the street. We've just kind of adopted him. He's been here for over 10 years. And our other neighbors, she watched me when I was in elementary school, so we kind of grew up together.
Who's that?
Wendy and Jean. They've been married for 6 years.
Does Kim live on Black Shark too?
No, Kim is, she lives on Pirates Way. She's my mom's best friend, lifelong. She's been around since I was born. She has a son that's 2 days younger than me, and we grew up together. So that's how she fits into the family. I'm basically her adopted kid. She's always been there for me.
Did you grow up on Blackjack?
Yeah.
So is it fair to say, I mean, I can clearly see, I'm a parent too, I can clearly see like how much this whole scenario is tearing you up in regards to your daughter, okay? So I really can sympathize with your feelings about that. Is it everybody else that kind of lives around you and other people close to you kind of feel the same way?
Yes.
Like, in support of you?
Yes. Yes. And I can send you a whole army of people that can tell you that you can ask them individually anything.
And that's what I'm trying to think, is like any other people I can speak to.
Yeah, I'll give you a whole list of.
So I got Steve,
and
got your grandma.
I've got little cousins. They live there too. They're always there. Steve, he's 18. You can talk to him. Chase, Danny. My grandma lives on the other side. That's Becky. Becky Moore. Wendy.
Okay. What about Gene?
Gene.
Okay.
You can call him too. You can call Melanie. I think her last. She's not my neighbor, but she can be a person to talk to about me and how I am with my kids. I've had to take my kid to work with me a couple times. I work as a veterinarian clinic. I work at the bordery side, so I get to do the dog walks on the beach or the dog baths. Or so if my mom gets called into the nursing home side, I gotta make it work. So she comes to work with me. But they've seen me work with her. They've seen her hand in hand with me. I've got plenty of coworkers that have seen that. Yeah.
Did you ever see Kobe argue with any of those people?
Not that I can think of. Not really. He didn't do much arguing. He was kind of a pushover, if that makes sense. Like
Kobe was a pushover?
Yeah. He didn't. When I tell you, he was just looking for as high as possible. That's what he was. I didn't leave him because of aggression. It was just because I was scared that he was gonna get high and forget my kid somewhere, or leave the drugs on the table and let my kid eat them, or simple things like he left a wet wipe in her diaper.
Soon, a critical detail emerged. Just days before the murder, a judge had ruled that Colby would receive 50-50 custody of his daughter. This was the one thing Rachel feared the most. She had repeatedly said she did not want her daughter in that environment. And then, only hours after a custody exchange, Colby Vincent was found dead.
And literally caused blisters on her vagina. Like, water blisters on her back because he doesn't like sunscreen on his hands, and it was spray on sunscreen. It was those things. It was never the aggression. It was, I'm scared that what you're selling is gonna get you hurt, or what you're doing is gonna get my kid hurt, or what you're doing is gonna hurt you.
Is there anybody that you can think of that would have, on your behalf, tried to help you out in this situation since the courts
Not that would have
haven't
the
helped you?
balls. No. Look, my family grew up very Southern Baptist, y'all. They pushed me to marry him when they found out I was pregnant, and I was the family disappointment because I told them no. And I felt that way for a long time because I told them no. We'll pray about it, we give it to God. That's who we are. We're not, let's start a war, that's not us.
So
And
after,
yeah, I understand y'all can see my record, but that wasn't from me. And you could see that it was clear. You can see that my brother put me in this situation. Like, I'm not a violent person.
who could be a violent person?
I don't keep violent people around me. I have high anxiety, and ever since I had my kid, that's my focus, is if you're violent, there's no way you're gonna be violent towards her. I'm not real big. I don't carry guns. I don't carry weapons. I have a machete. We go hiking with snakes. Are you kidding me? What? How defensible am I gonna be with a machete? I don't keep aggressive people near me, and if they are, I keep them at a distance. That way their aggression stays over there.
Well, you know how you mentioned that you saw the judge's point of view, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so I want to put you in my shoes for just a second and make you
understand.
Well, and this is why we're trying to clear out as many people as we can and talk to as many people as we can, and this is why, okay? So we'll start with going back to court, okay? Obviously, this has been a long standing court battle, and it did not go in your favor. So so the very day that he gets to meet up and take his daughter, who he hasn't seen in
Almost a
a year,
Yeah,
he turns up deceased,
right. You can
Okay.
see why I'm panicking.
okay?
I
So
know how
then-
this looks for me, y'all.
I know, okay, but I want to point them out, so I want you to understand this, okay? We show up on scene very quickly after the fact the call is made, and at that time, we learned certain information from like your mother, who said she showed up not knowing that anything had happened, but that she was told that there were lots of police at the apartment building,
She's nosy.
okay?
She's nosy, and she's real concerned about her grandbaby.
Okay.
That's where she was gonna be. Kim has got kids that live there, and said, if anything, I don't care if a frog farts, if anything happens, call me.
Right.
And that's
And
what
they were-
happened, but
And they
I
were
didn't.
watching, and they were told to keep an eye on Colby, right? And what's going on?
On everything,
Right.
just this, everything, yes.
So why didn't they point out to, is it your godmom? Is she your godmother?
Kim?
Yeah. Okay, why would they not point out to her that it's pretty clear that something's going on at Colby's apartment? Why would they not have that information?
Again, I wasn't told anything until they got at my door. I was told, hey, I'm gonna go see Kim for a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna stay here and watch my movie.
So why
My
didn't they,
show.
so they didn't tell, so your mom just left without telling you that she was gonna go over to the apartment?
She said, I'm gonna go with Kim for a minute. Why would she tell me she's going to the apartment that I just left my kid at? I would wanna go.
Well, she just got told that the building is surrounded by a bunch of cops. That would seem to be some information
If it's not
to pass on to you.
if it's not something
Because
that
obviously
she
you are
already knows.
Obviously, you're very upset about the situation your daughter's in. Why would she not share that information with you?
Because she didn't know details.
Okay, but she knew that the police were there.
Yep.
Right, okay. And then she seemed very surprised that it had anything to do with Colby when I told her what was going on. I don't understand how she would not have that information if Kim's kids live right there. It wasn't a mystery what apartment we were at. It wasn't a mystery what was going
Sir, I don't
on.
understand your question. Are you asking me if my mom knew
No, I'm
where
trying
the
to,
cops were?
I just want you to understand
I understand, and I can
the
tell
other
you.
perspective, okay?
Call Kim and she can show you the messages that got sent to her about the scene.
Right, but I'm talking about how it's odd that that information did not get pushed to you.
Why stress me out more, knowing that my world's already stressed at
Well,
max?
why wouldn't you? Why would you
Wouldn't
not
I
want you
go?
there? Yeah. If there was something going on there, why would you not want to be there? Why would?
Because I'm not f***ing nosy. Because if I can stay at home and try to go to sleep instead of stressing out and stalking my baby daddy, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. As far out of sight, out of mind goes, that's what I'm gonna try to do. It wasn't my choice to hand her over. It was the judge's. I had to,
I understand
because
that. I
otherwise,
understand that.
contempt of court, I go to jail. So you know what? I did what I was told. And that's the extent of it. I did what I was told, and then I got the shit show the same time you did.
But you can see how all these scenarios are going to work out in your favor on the same day that he winds up dead. You can understand how conveniently that ends up working in your favor, right?
Okay,
But
well, how can I make it not? Because you know where I was, you know who I was with, you know what I was doing, you know who I contacted, what else can I do other than flat out tell you?
Well, who else could have done this?
I do not know. This is why I did not want my child there. Because I don't know the situations that come with this lifestyle.
No, but who
I don't
would
know.
have felt so strongly for your emotions and for your protection and for her protection
I don't
that
know.
they may have taken things that they could have taken things into their own hands on your behalf?
Buddy, I don't know. And I'm here to tell you, I have cried and cried and cried and cried and cried over this. So anybody that has saw me in the last week or has talked to me in the last week has heard me cry about it.
So since Monday, you've kind of been a wreck knowing this was inevitable
Yes.
coming, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But,
How could you not be?
I understand. It would be an unbearable thought in
How?
my world.
How could you not be?
But that's why I'm asking you to think real hard about someone who maybe wanted to protect you, protect her.
I, again, am not aggressive. I don't surround myself with aggressive people.
For investigators, this did not look like a coincidence. A custody battle, a fearful mother, and a dead father. The deeper they looked into the case, the more everything began pointing back to Rachel.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't. This is what I know. This is where I was. These are the people I was with. These are the people that I talked to.
Did you talk to anybody else in the last, let's say, week or so about what everything was going on since this all came down?
Anybody and everybody that has saw me crying. My boss, my coworkers, my family, my friends, everybody.
What about family members? Anybody in your family or someone you would consider family you've reached out to?
No. My immediate family. You don't go around bragging to your family that this is happening to you. Especially when you grow up in a Southern Baptist family. Like, you don't, you avoid them.
Well, I'm trying to give you this opportunity to be real clear about what, maybe even an idea you have in your head about something that could have happened. And the reason why I say that is we have a picture of the person who did this. I don't want you to be caught off guard if it turns out it's someone you know. Because if it does turn out that you're withholding information and our investigation leads to you withholding information, then how is that going to work for you, Alan? How would that work out
But I don't know.
in Presley's favor?
I don't know. I'm here to tell you, I have talked to everybody the same way.
Well, who have you talked to? I mean, I don't know, go through your phone, give me a list of people that you've talked to. Do you want to help yourself? I'm assuming this is for your daughter and for her protection, right?
Buddy, I feel like
Rachel, I have a feeling that you have an idea of what could have happened and you're afraid to say it. But this is a really good time for you to put that out there, and not for you, for your daughter. Because if we find out that you have something to do with this, that's not going to look good for you. So this is a really good time right now while we're gathering information to give us an idea of who could have done this. Think about yourself and think about your daughter for a minute.
I don't know. I have talked to everybody the same way.
Anybody you talk to that's given you the idea that they, like I said, they want to go out of their way to protect you or protect her from him? It is very clear that you feel very, very strong about her safety. Okay, I can feel your emotions. Okay, I really get that.
Seriously.
Sometimes things happen. So,
Is there anybody you can think of that, you don't think could have taken it seriously, but taken it seriously? Does that make sense?
No. Like I said, my family's I'm not violent. I don't understand.
I'm not saying you're violent.
I didn't do this, y'all. I didn't do this. I don't know.
Who could have done it, Rachel?
I don't know. That's my problem, is I don't know. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to who he talks to. I don't talk to anybody, really. I stay at home with my family. I go to work.
Rachel, everything that we've done in the last, and we haven't stopped since this started at 9 o'clock last night. It has not stopped. We have been working tirelessly the whole time. And everything that we keep circling right back to is a connection to this custody battle.
I'm here to tell you, I don't have anything to do with this. I did not do this. I don't know who he talks to. I don't know who would do this to him.
Who would have done this for you?
I don't know. I wouldn't think anybody would do this for me. Why would they do this with my child there for me?
Some people do irrational things in irrational moments.
That's wrong. That's not irrational.
Well, of course
That is
wrong.
wrong.
That's why we're sitting here.
Mm.
You said yourself, Coley is a pushover.
I do not know.
You won this battle in court, and from the sounds of it, this could have inevitably ended up being a permanent situation, and that obviously wasn't going to work out very well, for what you and your family want.
I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I don't know who he talks to. I don't know who would hurt him.
But who have you talked to?
My
Well, you
family.
said- right.
These people.
Do you have family members that live off of Blackjack that you could have talked to?
I have family in Nashville that I've talked to. I have family in Alabama. I have family in, I have family all over the States, but it's just, hey, how are things going? What are you doing?
And obviously this is a hot subject for you.
Yeah.
Especially this has not been a good week
Yeah,
what you've been fighting for.
yeah.
Who have we talked to? Tennessee and Alabama are not very far from us. I mean, give me an idea.
But that's what I'm saying. These aren't people that would do things like that. That's my little cousin. She's a child. She's got a baby. It's my older sister. She's pregnant. She's had 3 miscarriages. She's not gonna do anything like that. Like
Are those people in Tennessee?
that my little cousin is. The one in Alabama is the pregnant sister. Like what?
Are they married at all?
Huh?
Are they married?
The sister and cousin?
No,
No,
is
no,
your
no.
sister and cousin married? Well, you said your cousin's little.
No, my cousin's not married.
Yeah.
I don't get along with her boyfriend.
And then the pregnant one?
The pregnant one, I've never met her husband. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you his name. I know that he's got a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, but I just found that out.
What's the last name? Or who's your sister?
Megan, she just changed her name. It was Megan. It's Megan.
Megan.
Yeah.
Do you have a phone number for Megan?
No, I have her on Snapchat.
Do you have her on Snapchat? Do you have her Snapchat ID?
I can never send me her number.
You can just show me the Snapchat tag, it's fine.
How far along is she pregnancy-wise?
She goes to her to find out what the baby is March 30th.
Did you have a conversation with Megan about all this?
No, that's why I was like, I don't know, so it would be useless. It's not, these aren't,
Can you show me her Snapchat tag? I'm sorry.
yeah, sorry. And how do you do a tab?
It's this one right here. This is what I'm trying to write down.
You said 3 miscarriages?
Yeah, she's had a hard life.
Does she have any children, or were they just kind of all the
Well,
miscarriages?
her husband died not too long ago, and she got re-engaged or married or whatever, but I've been so far out of the loop, like I said, I stay at home, I don't talk to anybody. She called me the other day and told me she was pregnant, and I was like, that's exciting. She's like, how things are going, and I was like, not great. I told her then, and then I've been trying not to stress her out, so I didn't even tell her about losing in court, but I have talked to her this week. I just told her
You didn't tell her with everything going on. You didn't tell her that court didn't go in your favor.
no.
Why?
Well, she's pregnant. She's had miscarriages. I don't want to stress her out and be the next reason she has a miscarriage.
What was your previous husband's name? If you don't mind me asking.
Hers, Lamar's. I was like, I was never married. Lamar.
So Megan lived with y'all, lived with you at some point, obviously.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was only for summers.
You don't know her new husband.
No.
You don't know his name.
But I mean,
That's kind of weird.
well, again, it's
It's
you
her
asked
hus-
who I
right.
talked to
Right.
recently,
But it's
and
weird
I
that you
was-
don't know her husband's name. That's why.
why. She lives out of state. I don't have to see her.
I know, but it's her husband. That's weird. That
Yeah,
it's
but
her
it's
sister.
new.
I do not.
Her last husband was Lamar. I've been dealing with my own stuff. I'm not the best one at reaching out. When I tell you I have talked to people I genuinely mean, they have reached out because my mom is telling them I'm not doing great. And it's just, hey, how are you? I'm not doing great.
Does your mom talk to your sister often? Could she have been the one that told her what was going on?
No, I don't even think she talks to Megan. I'm telling you guys, I don't know who would do this. I don't know who he talks to. I don't know who would do this. And I would not do this to my daughter. This is horrible.
Well, we've gone through Colby stuff. We've gone through people he's talked to, and we've already gone down that aisle. And like I said to you before, everything in this investigation keeps coming back to you in this custody battle. Okay? You said yourself, we know where you are, we know what you were doing, we know all that. Okay? So I'm not saying that you were there, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying I believe you have a decent idea of who could have done this on your behalf.
I don't. What I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know who would have done this.
So when we identify the man in the picture, and there's a connection to you, then how are you going to answer that question?
Probably I can't believe they did this. Well, how would you answer that question?
Well, again, I'm going back to the fact that this has clearly been a long, ongoing deal. This has been a long court battle. This has been a long fight in court, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. And then the day it doesn't.
Court dates for me. I went to court, got told what to do. I did it. I got back to court, got told what to do. I did it. It's not long and drawn out like it's a big giant scene. Yeah, it was a long gap between the process, but it's not like it was a vicious battle back and forth. We were not evil to each other.
I know, but you refused to let him go, and you resorted to both spending thousands of dollars on attorneys to have this argument. And
because he saw nothing wrong with doing what he was doing. He saw nothing wrong with leaving Coke on a coffee table for a toddler to run around with. Do you see nothing wrong with that?
oh, I see a lot of wrong with that.
I didn't.
But what happened with court? Why did the court not agree?
Because his attorney moved the court date up to where my side of the case wouldn't even be seen. That's what happened in court.
All right, so the courts did not help you.
At all. I did not do this.
The courts, like you said, took your daughter away from you.
They did not take my daughter away. They ordered 50-50.
Right. Those were your words. You said the courts ordered and took your daughter away from you.
The courts ordered, shared, a week to week. You read it, you have it.
Everything keeps coming back to this.
And I keep telling you the same thing.
During the interrogation, Rachel insisted she didn't know who did it. She claimed she had no idea what happened. But detectives believed she wasn't telling the full story. There was something she was hiding. And they knew that sooner or later, the truth would surface.